Welcome to an Empower PL video tutorial. We are talking about Google Sites. In the previous video, we created a site from scratch. In this particular video, we're going to go ahead and dive in and start adding our text, some images, perhaps bring in a YouTube video, maybe a document, a calendar, etc. So let's get started. Over on the right, you'll notice that there are 3 tabs, and we want to go into the Insert menu. This is going to showcase all of the different features and things that you can bring in and insert into a site. So you've got text box, images, you can bring in content from Google Drive, you can even embed stuff from other websites. And you'll notice you also even have different layouts that you can use, which you can, of course, later manipulate to lay out the way in which you might want it to. So far, what we have on the page is really just our header and the title of our site. And we're on our home page right now. And so we're going to go ahead and add just a little bit of extra stuff to our home page. So from the layouts, you'll notice from the options there, you can click on any one of those and it'll automatically insert on the left-hand side so that you can then begin to add content. You'll notice first, because this is the layout we chose, we have the ability to add an image on the left and then text on the right. So in the image section here, by simply clicking over that plus button, you can go and upload a photo from your computer. And of course, you have other options as well. This allows you to also, this kind of text box or this graphic box allows you to bring in also a calendar, map, YouTube, etc. So we're going to click on upload and bring an image in from our computer. So I'm just going to go over to some of my graphics and then just select something so that we can have something to add here. So I'm just going to go and find something really quick. Let's say we want this graphic here. I'm going to click on open and it's going to add my image. Now you'll notice that it cropped it off, and you do have the ability to adjust this by dragging these little circles up and down to make sure that it snags the image the way in which you like it. And you'll notice that as I start to drag it, it definitely changes the image. And what I like about it is that it doesn't actually manipulate the image itself. In other words, it doesn't stretch it or do anything like that. Instead, what it's doing is it's adjusting it based on how I'm dragging these little circles. So that's really nice, because sometimes when you bring in an image and you start to manipulate it, it'll stretch, and this doesn't do that, which I like. So there's our image, which we can also reposition on our artboard, which is what you see in the background. When I started to move it, you'll notice those lines in the background, and that's the artboard that we have, the space that we have for this particular section that we've created. So I'm just going to say here, welcome to Miss Martinez. And we're going to put, just so you can see this subcategory here under the second one, I'm going to say graphics site. Now you can manipulate these. These by default are adhering to whatever theme you would have selected when you first created your website, and I have it set to Aristotle. So the colors automatically default to those colors. It also automatically defaults to that font, the font choices that came with that particular theme. You can come in here and adjust this. You've got normal text, title, heading, subheading, small. And what this is going to do is it's going to begin to adjust your text, again, based off of that theme, but give you different possibilities for how you can lay out your text. Okay, so we're going to go back to title and leave it like that. You could do the same here. This is just normal text, but you could certainly say subheading, and then that would make it different there as well. You can, of course, add, let's come back here to our insert and add another text box. And then just type in content without necessarily bringing in a pre-formatted section there. So this is another text box. And then once again, I'm going to highlight that. And then you could change this to any of those items that you saw earlier there in the drop-down menu. We can change the alignment, let's say here to center. You can add bullet points. You can link items from here, bold it, etc. Okay. All right. So you get the idea as to what that is there. So that's bringing in text. That's also bringing in a layout, a pre-made layout that you could then just customize. You could also adjust these as you add more text here. Let's say we were to start adding the copy for our website here. As you type in more, you can see that it would then just expand that box. So all of these are expandable as you start adding more and more text, which is why you see in this example, text just coming out this way, and then those are all images. But then see here, I chose one of the layouts that had three images or three possibilities up top. In this case, I brought in some videos. And then the text, as I started adding more and more text, as you can see, it went down. It got a little long there. And then I have another section with 3 more videos and more text, etc. So you can decide how much text to put into these. You can decide how long or short you want those pages to be on there. Okay. All right. So that was one example, bringing in text information. All right, but I'm going to go to the video page that we created under the resource tab. And what we're going to do is add a video. So we're going to bring in a YouTube video. And I already have a video in mind that I want to bring in, which I have here from one of the videos that I made I just called it Gmail overview. So of course, others might be called that too. So let's see if we find it right off the bat. We're looking for this to pop up in the search results, so we know it's our video that we're getting. So yeah, see, here's one that's called Gmail Overview, but I know that that's not mine. And then here's another one, and here's another one, and I know that none of those are mine. So I'd have to keep looking. Obviously, you would want to create something that perhaps with a title that would stand out a little bit more. That would be really helpful. For now, anyway, because we want to do this here quickly and not spend too much time searching here, I'm just going to select one so you can see the process. And there's my video. From here, I've got a little gear right up here at the top. You can actually change things like when you're watching a video, it'll give you a progress bar. You can actually change the color from red to white if you wanted to. You can also select allow full screen if you want to allow people to actually pull that up into full screen mode. So that's something that you can certainly do as well. And then the controls that pop up, you can say slide out of view or don't hide at all. Or fade, and that's the progress bar on the video itself. And so let's click on done. And what we're going to do here is drag this more towards the center. And you can see as I'm moving it, those lines pop up again. And there we go. That's the center section. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come up here to publish because I want to actually show you what we've created. So this is what it gives me as the web address for our demo here. You can, of course, make a change there if you wanted to. Let's go ahead and click on publish. And then we are going to view this site the way our users would see it. Okay, so if we go to the video here, there you see the video. I can click on play from there.
Once you have decided on an activity to do with a friend,
I can go to full screen mode.
To communicate all the
I can escape full screen mode. And what I like about that is the fact that, let me stop her for a second there. What I like about that is the fact that I can go into full screen mode and it doesn't necessarily jump over to YouTube. It stays there. And when I exit out, you're still on that website. So it didn't navigate away. So I really like that feature. So I highly recommend that when you're adding your videos under your settings to definitely allow full screen mode so that people don't try to go directly over to another tab in YouTube to watch that video. So that's really nice. All right, so that was adding a video. So let's go back to our resource calendar and let's go to images. Even though it says images here, we're just going to use this as our example. to insert a doc. And so once again, on the left-hand side in that first tab insert, you've got all these different options. And when you scroll down, you'll start to see some of the additional features you have, like being able to bring in a Google Doc, a Google slide deck, if you want to bring in a presentation, a Google Sheet, a Google Form. We're going to do docs in this demo. And let's grab, we're just going to grab the first one here that pops up. And let's go ahead and insert that. I just did a double click to be able to bring that in. And once again, once you have it, let me close that out so it collapses there. Okay. Once you have it here, you'll notice, obviously, I have more than that on the document. I can actually expand this by simply scrolling down. So I'm just making this bigger so that more of my document actually shows up on the page. And so you can keep doing that. And let's just say we're just going to do that for now. Let's publish what we just added. And I really like this publish view. It lets you see, okay, what do you have currently in draft mode? What's been currently published. So you can see that way you catch anything that maybe you're like, oh no, I don't want to publish that yet. Or, oh, let me go fix that. Okay, so when we go to this site, I'm just going to do a refresh since we already had this one, this tab open with our site. And again, this was under resources. Let's go to that subpage images so we can take a look at that document. So here's our document that we added, and you saw me expand that quite a bit so that we could have a lot of the document in view. However, that document is super long, and you can see that the entire document doesn't actually have to be in view because it gives me the ability to scroll. So over on the right-hand side, I actually have what you would normally see when you're in Google Docs, right? Is we have that little bar to be able to scroll up and down. So that's really nice that you don't actually have to consume your entire page here with all of that. So if you didn't want to, you didn't have to actually expand it as much as I did. In fact, you can make it a lot smaller so that it only shows a small portion of the site, and people will know because when they get to it on their end, they see it. And see here, we just have to publish again to refresh that. And then let's come over here and refresh this. So you would be able to see just that where that page, actually shows up for you on this end. And you can scroll through it. And if we had more content, we would then be able to see what was below it. But for now, we only have that one little piece. But now we can come down here and say, okay, let's add another doc. And we'd be able to bring in another doc and so forth. So it allows you to bring in more than one, of course, allowing you to be able to use this as a way to bring in resources, perhaps activities, lessons, maybe rubrics for your kids to be able to see, maybe this is one big project they're working on. And so you're bringing in these different components and you can add them all onto one page. So I'm just going to publish that and we'll take a look here in just a little bit. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to show you is calendar. I love the calendar feature. When you create calendars from your Google Calendar app, you can create, let's say, a classroom calendar that has, all of the important dates on there, maybe dates for projects that are due, exams that are coming up, holidays, pretty much just anything you would need to inform your students or parents in regards to your classroom. And so let's say you had one of those and you wanted to bring that calendar into your website if this was, your teacher website. So I clicked on calendar there on the right. I'm just going to bring in this demo calendar and click insert. And voila, I've got my calendar here. And once again, if we go into our settings, we can manipulate what's visible and what isn't visible. So show the titles, the dates, navigation buttons. That's those right up here that people can navigate through. Time zone, if that's necessary, depending on where your students are located. And I do want to point this out here, view mode. So by default, it goes to agenda, and the agenda shows you as a list, which is what you see here, even though I don't have any events, but it just shows a list, right? If you were to go to month view, it would show up as a calendar month, which is what you see back here now as a calendar month. So you can decide if you do decide to go with month, for example, instead of agenda. I highly recommend you definitely make it bigger because it's going to be too hard to see a month agenda, the actual items listed if it's this small. So that's why a lot of people sometimes choose agenda, because it lists it, which makes it just a lot easier to be able to see on a web page. So that's what a calendar would look like if you added a calendar. So you get the idea. I won't go through all of these because it's pretty much the same steps. Whenever you insert any items, if you see the gear, that allows you to customize any additional features and so forth. Obviously, you could remove those items if you wanted to. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff that you can insert. So hopefully that's helpful, and you get to start building your website with all these cool additional resources and tools.